So the Sony FX30 has been a substantial and an amazing camera. It is very compact, lightweight in size, cinema-built camera that leads for its price. This is just really great, especially for someone that is looking to buy your first mirrorless cinema camera or probably looking for a big camera to assist you in terms of your production. My name is Abiku. Welcome to the channel. If you like this video, kindly subscribe. The unboxing experience of the Sony FX30. Someone who uses Canon and has had Canon cameras over the period, I think that I wasn't really enthused, especially with the unboxing experience when it comes to this. I like Canon's packaging more than what I have for Sony. So the first thing you're going to find inside the box is you're going to see the user manual, which for me, I think it's really great. Also comes with a warranty card for a year, the USB-C to A charger inside it, as well as the adapter. Unfortunately, Sony doesn't give you the charging brick. Sony's type of battery that you're going to find inside the Sony FX30. You have to charge the Sony FX30 with the USB-C port and the USB charger that is provided with. But in terms of the unboxing experience and the first impression, I think that this is a solid camera. Let's talk about the design of the Sony FX30. It has no EVF, which you can look through to capture events and all that. But that is great because this is first and foremost a video-centric camera. One of the things that I think that really makes the Sony FX30 stand out has to do with the 1/4 mountain port thread that you're going to find with the Sony FX30. So when you look at the body over here, you can see that it has all this kind of threads around it, and which makes it incredible in terms of you mounting accessories and all kinds of things on this. One of the things that I really love with the Sony FX30 that I've been using for the past couple of weeks is that it has the tally lights really around it, and I like that a lot. Especially when you're in a dark room or dimly lit situation you are recording. Sometimes you cannot even see that you have pressed a camera that you're recording on it, but this one has a lot of light with it. Really bright and it's colorful. And when you are at an event recording with the Sony FX30, you realize that you're going to find that a lot of people will be looking at you because that the tally light is going to give you a catchy point for other people, other creators even around you. It is extremely lightweight. The body, the ergonomics of this is really great. I like how your fingers and palms fold into the body of the Sony FX30. Durable magnesium alloy, which is extremely important for this camera body, with the fans that you're going to find around it and all that. This is just really great. As someone who's coming from Canon and having the Canon Access Mark II, which is currently recording this video, and having the RH, which is also mounted over here, you can see that with this, it is not just something I'm just saying. The FX30's design, especially in terms of the grip, is really beautiful. It's great toe to toe with Canon, except that Canon has this kind of smooth pattern to it that makes your grip really comfortable than this. But this is very solid, especially for the fact that if you have smaller hands, it fits perfectly into your hands and makes you to be able to use the Sony FX30 without having any kind of compromises. The buttons here are just really properly, masterfully crafted in such a way that when you hold the body of a Sony FX30, your fingers tend to position in a way that you can easily have access to other things. There's a lot of ports that you're going to find over here. And for me, I think that is what makes a cinema camera really different from a hybrid or a photocentric camera. On top of the FX30, you can see the record button, which is red over here. And at the button also over here, you can see that there's also another red recording button over here. So it means that the moment you want to record, even if you can't use this, you can simply use this one to start recording. And that makes it ideal for shooting scenarios. You have the iris button, you have the white balance button, you also have the ISO button, full HDMI with this, which both of my Canon cameras does not have. And that's quite hilarious, even saying this. It also has 2 card slots that you're going to find with the Sony FX30. For me, I don't think that is really a necessity for my use case, especially for the fact that I have the Canon Access Mark II, which I've used for almost a year now, and I still use just 1 card for it, and I've not had any issues. I also like the menu on the Sony FX30. This is Sony's new menu system that you find over here, and it also has weather sealing. So if you're someone that likes to shoot in a very drastic environmental situation and condition, with it alloyed body, you are going to have just an amazing use with the Sony FX30. Let's talk about the video codecs on the Sony FX30. I think that is what really separates the Sony FX30 from other cameras within its price bracket. 10 bits 422 video internally, and that is great for color flexibility in terms of using at S-Log 3 This is giving you amazing color fidelity. It's also shoot and support XAVC-HS, XAVC-S, and all I formats. So any format that you want to shoot the Sony FX30, you'll be able to go shoot with this. So it depends on the kind of processing power that you are using, in terms of either you are using a MacBook or you are using a Windows computer. This is giving you shoot file formats. And when you shoot in any of the video codecs that you're going to find over there, especially me, I like to shoot at XAVC-S, and that is giving you 200 megabytes in terms of the footage that you're going to get per minute, I think so, with this. And that is just huge amount of dynamic rate and power processing that you need to record it. It shoots 4K at 24 FPS, at 30 FPS, at 60 FPS. It also shoots 4K at 120 FPS, which comes with a bit of a crop on it. And so already this is a crop sensor camera, and so when you are shooting anything on this and it comes with a crop, it means that you have to multiply that in terms of the crop factor you're going to get out of it. So already you have 1.5 crop factor on this, and then having another crop factor in terms of the 4K. I don't know how that is going to be because I've not shot in 4K 120 FPS. It also shoots 1080p all the way up to 240 frames per second. That is battery smooth slow motion that you're going to find with the FX30. Image quality and the autofocus that you're going to find with the Sony FX30. It comes with a 26 megapixel sensor, which is just great. And this is a Super 35, 2 base ISO. So you have 800 and then 2500, which perform well in low light situations. I realized that some of the footage that I shot with this were a bit noisy because that I wasn't shooting at the base ISO. So I realized that that is what could be the issue with this Sony FX30. So if someone starting new with the FX30, you need to set your ISO to the base ISO that you find with the Sony FX30, and then probably use the aperture to control the amount of light that comes into the sensor. Clean footage, cinematic, impressive color profile that you're going to find with this. You can shoot in X-Log3. It runs amount of range and flexibility with your editing. With the Sony FX30, it means that you are shooting on a crop sensor camera, which is a Super 35. And because that Sony is very advanced in terms of having third-party manufacturers make lenses for their E-mounts, you're going to have a lot of brands that are giving you incredible performance in terms of price to value ratio. So if you are someone that's shooting on Sony FX30, for instance, I think that my go-to lens that I've had for the FX30, since this lens has been with me with my Sony ZV-10 with a Tamron 17-70mm f2.8, and that lens is what I use on the Sony FX30. So I think that this lens is really amazing, and the performance of this lens is just really great. And looking at the fact that using this lens with the Sony FX30 mean that you're having a 70mm all the way to a 70mm, so you can easily zoom in and zoom out on the Sony FX30. Because it's a crop sensor Super 35, you are going to multiply that by the lens that you have. So this is going to be 70mm all the way to 70mm, which is going to give you an equivalent on a free frame, which will be a 25mm or 24.5mm all the way through to 105mm. That's image stabilization, such as weather and moisture control. Shooting at an event that I recently attended, which was a modeling event and showcase of student art and craft and clothing job, capturing it as impressive autofocus performance. I'm coming from Canon R6 Mark II or the Canon R8 to the Sony FX30, and I also realized that the Sony FX30 or Sony's autofocus performance is really impressive, but I think that neck and neck you're not finding any difference between that and Canon. But the image stabilization on the FX30, I don't think it's really great as it had been purported or perceived. For someone coming from Canon, I think that Canon has an amazing or impressive image stabilization, even though it gives you a little wobbles around the corners and all that. But the image stabilization on the Canon cameras, the Canon R6 Mark II that I'm using, is really just way up there. And I think that the image stabilization on the FX30 is great. It's good. It really works so well. But I don't think it lives up to the expectation that I was looking at. I will still for the fact that the image stabilization on the Sony FX30 is good, but it's not exponentially great as I can think about my Canon R6 Mark II. Even though the Tamron lens over here has vibration compensation, which in simple terms means it has image stabilization. When I pair it with a Sony FX30, even when you put that active, you still have some kind of shakes with it. Having this Sony FX30, I'm using it for a couple of weeks now. I think one of the downsides to this camera has to do with the battery life. The Sony FX30, for me, I don't think matches to my expectation of a great battery life. If you have just one battery like this and you take it to an event, sometimes it puts a bit of anxiety inside. But the processing power that this camera is coming with, you realize that the battery keeps draining at a faster rate. So if you're someone who is a hybrid shooter, photo first person, I don't think the FX30 is for you. It's for people who are just looking for a video-centric camera. I don't know whether if the FX30 really fits into my needs. For me, the fact that it is a crop sensor camera, Super Dead 5, is what is giving me a little bit of an edge over here. I've used the ZV-10 for considerable number of times. I think crop sensor does not really make it for me, an ideal for me in terms of my shooting scenario. Having both the Canon R6 Mark II and the Canon R8, I'm still at mess with this camera. It is a great camera. For someone in the market looking for a cinema camera body, a video focused camera body, and you are tight on budget and can't go the full frame, I think that the Sony FX30 will do a great deal for you. And then you have to have a learning curve around it to be able to have a proper use of the Sony FX30. My name is Abeku. If you like the video, kindly subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Peace out.